Hello everyone. So in part 4 of the video, we have seen that what is the importance of wavelength towards generator and how it is helping us to calculate the input impedance when we know the load impedance. So in part 5, we can see what is the importance of wavelength towards load and how it is helping us to calculate the load impedance. So in our system, we know that the load may be our antenna, and it will be really confusing what is the requirement for calculating the load if we are design this antenna. Because if we have designed this antenna, we will be analyzing everything like S parameters, impedance, everything. So we will be having knowledge about the impedance of the antenna. But let's assume the scenario if I have not designed this antenna and I have purchased an antenna. So in that case, I am not sure about the input impedance of the antenna. So I have a network analyzer and this network analyzer is calibrated up to this point. So if I can connect this antenna to the network analyzer, I can easily find out what is the impedance from the Smith chart. But my problem is this connector and this network port connector are not compatible. So in that case, I was unable to take any measurements by directly connecting this antenna to the network analyzer. So what I can do is if I have any cable of non-length, I can which is compatible with both this antenna and network analyzer, I can connect both together and can take the measurement. So if I take the measurement, I'll be getting the input impedance at this point. Not at this point, but I can measure the input impedance from the network analyzer from this point. So as this is our system now, so now I have a network analyzer connected here through the transmission line and I have the load which is the antenna. So now I am measuring the input impedance at this point. So I know the input impedance at this point, but my purpose is to find out the antenna impedance at this point. What is the input impedance of this ZL? So by using this system, I can measure the impedance here and I know the length of the transmission line. So if I know the length of the transmission line, if I can retrace it back through these wavelength, I can easily find out the load impedance, right? That means that if I know the input impedance and I know the length of the line, I can easily calculate the system using this equation because I know the input impedance and the characteristic impedance of the cable length. These all things I know, so I can easily calculate ZL. But if I am going to use this equation, I have to make these complex calculations because we know that the impedance of the system is the complex, so it will be the calculations will be more complex. So we have seen in part 4 that it is very easy to use the Smith chart to find out the load impedance. Source impedance. So in similar way, if we can use the Smith chart, we can easily replace that complex calculations using the Smith chart and easily find out the load impedance if we know the input impedance. That's why we are using wavelength towards load in Smith chart to calculate the load impedance. That is the importance of Smith chart. So let's see how a Smith chart can be used in a similar scenario. So this is a problem which shows a transmission line has a characteristic impedance of 50 ohm. Calculate the load impedance if the measured input impedance is 100 minus 50J. So we now know the input impedance here, which is 100 minus 50J. The length of the transmission line is 0.45 lambda. So this length we know. So this is our unknown. So let's see how we can use wavelength towards load in Smith chart to find out the load impedance in this scenario. If we have the input impedance, length of the transmission line, how we can use this to find out the load impedance. So this is our problem. So let's find out the scenario. So if you have a problem like this, if we want to analyze the problem in Smith chart, our first step is find out the normalized impedance. So the normalization means divide the load impedance by the characteristic impedance. So sorry, whatever the input impedance given, not load impedance, input impedance. So we have the input impedance given. So here it is the input impedance. So here it is 100 minus 50J divided by the characteristic impedance, which is given as 50 ohm. So if we give that, we will get the input impedance. So I know the input impedance now. Now I have to mark that input impedance on the Smith chart. So for that, what I can do is this real part will be my resistance and this will be my reactance. So I have to find out the constant resistance circle. So here you can see that 1.6, 1.8, 2, 2 is the this is my constant resistance circle, this one, and my reactance is minus 1J. Minus means it is below this line. So here I have to find out 1. So here I can see that this is the 1 corresponding to that. So if I extend this one and resistance, this is my point corresponding to 2 minus 1J. That is my input impedance. So now I find out the input impedance. That is the first step. So now, okay, sorry, now I mark the input impedance. So after marking the input impedance, the next step is now we are dealing with the wavelength. So what I have to do is I have to find out the wavelength corresponding to this impedance. For that, what I can do is I can draw a line from the center. So this is always our reference, the matched position, that is 0 is our reference. Draw a straight line from here through this point and extend towards this uh, outer circles. And from this line, what we have to find out is now we are moving towards the load. So we have to move towards the load. So I have to find out wavelength towards the load. So this is this line. So I have to find out what is this point or in point of intersection on this line. So this is what I have done. So I have extended the line and moving towards the load. So this is the intersection point. Here you can see that its point is 0.19, 0.02, 0.021. So this is the wavelength corresponding to this load. So I have draw a line from this matched point to this point and find out the wavelength corresponding to that. In next step, what I have to do is, so now I know the input impedance wavelength corresponding to the input impedance. Now I have a transmission line of length 0.45 lambda. So now I have to extend 0.45 lambda to find my load impedance. So what I can do is I have to add 0.45 to this 0.21 and trace the value along this Smith chart to find that point. So I have to add the length of the transmission line to 0.21. So I added 0.21 and 0.45. So I got it as 0.66 lambda. So we know that if we consider a complete circle, so we can trace from here wavelength towards shore. It starts from 0, 0.04, 0.05, like this 0.025, and like that if you extend you can see that it will extend to 0.49, 0.5. So one complete circle corresponds to 0.5. Here my total is 0.66 lambda, that is which is greater than 0.5 lambda. So if I want to extend more than 0.5 lambda also, I have to draw one more time. That is what we have to do on the Smith chart. So if it is more than 0.5, we have to extend one more time. That means that if it is more than 0.5, what I can do is 0.66 lambda equal to 0.5 lambda plus 0.16 lambda. So I have to extend only to 0.16 lambda. So I will go to 0.5 lambda, then 0.16 lambda. So here you can see that wavelength towards load 0.04, 0.05, like this. You can see 0.15, 0.16. So this is my point. So this is the wavelength corresponding to my load. So I find that point like that. So I have to add the length of the transmission line to the length of the input impedance and find out that line corresponding to that. So now I find that point. So after finding that point, you have to draw a line from this matched position through that point. So I draw that line. So next is the step where we have to identify the point. So in that case, you can take a compass and make it as the center and this as the radius. So making this as the center and the radius, you can draw a circle. So when you draw the circle will intersect with this line at a point, and that point will give you the value of your load impedance. So that is equal to, so if you can see that this circle and this line are intersecting at this point, which is corresponding to the constant resistance circle of 1.01, and it corresponds to the capacitance value of -1. So that is your value. So if you want to find out the actual load impedance, you have to multiply by 50 because we know that all these Smith chart is normalized. So you will get the value as 50.5 minus 50J. So this is your load impedance. So if you have the input impedance and the value of the transmission line, you can find out the load impedance very easily without using that complex calculations. Okay, so if you have the load impedance, just normalize this value and means I just want to quickly go through what is the step. So just normalize this value, mark that point, then find out the load impedance, then add this transmission line length and find out that value and extend line from here to that point, draw a circle, find that intersecting point, that will be your load impedance. So I hope you get some idea about what is meant by wavelength towards load and why it is so important when you are dealing with these type of transmission line systems. So moving towards the source actually means that wavelength towards the source or generator, it is like a clockwise movement. So you can see that it is like a clockwise movement and moving towards the load. So if it is like moving towards the load, you can see that it is in anti-clockwise movement. So this is what we are using to calculate the input impedance or the load impedance if you know the other parameters. Thank you.